Welcome back to F1 Sparks, where you get your dose of spark from the F1 world. Formula One is the pinnacle of motorsport, and making it to the top requires an immense amount of skill, determination and resources. While talent and hard work are crucial to becoming an F1 driver, Daddy's money can provide opportunities that are hard to come by otherwise. Today, we're going to discuss a somewhat controversial topic in the world of Formula One: team owners who buy a team and place their sons as drivers, how often this strategy works, and how it impacts the sport. For most racing drivers, the journey to Formula One is a long and challenging one. They often start in karting and work their way through the ranks, competing in various single-seater categories such as Formula 2 and Formula 3. Success in these categories is crucial in order to attract the attention of F1 teams and potentially secure a seat. However, not everyone follows this traditional path. Some drivers have been able to enter the world of Formula One thanks to their wealthy backgrounds and the financial support of their families. This has led to the term pay driver being used to describe drivers who bring significant financial backing to their teams, often in exchange for a race seat. One of the most well-known examples of a team owner helping his son reach F1 is Lawrence Stroll, the billionaire owner of Aston Martin, previously Racing Point. Lawrence Stroll invested heavily in motorsport and acquired Racing Point to help further his son Lance Stroll's career. Lance Stroll joined Williams in 2017 through his father's sponsorship and moved to Racing Point when his father bought the team. While Lance Stroll has shown glimpses of potential, his results have been inconsistent, and many feel he would not be in F1 without his father's money and influence. However, in 2023, we've seen the young Stroll in a new, more mature version, next to his seasoned teammate Fernando Alonso. And the most experienced F1 driver is rubbing off on his young apprentice. Another example is Dmitry Mazepin and his son Nikita Mazepin, who is a prime example of a driver who has benefited from his family's wealth. Dmitry Mazepin is a Russian oligarch who owns a controlling stake in the chemical company Uralchem. Nikita's journey to F1 has been controversial due to his on-track behaviour and incidents with other drivers. Despite this, his significant financial backing secured his place on the grid with the Haas F1 team until he was sacked in 2022. Canadian driver Nicholas Latifi is another example of someone who's used wealth to his advantage. His father, Michael Latifi, is a billionaire businessman who owns a significant stake in the McLaren Group and also sponsored another F1 team, Williams. Through that sponsorship, Nicholas was given a race seat, and although he has shown some potential during his time in Formula One, his time in the sport all came to an end after the disastrous 2022 season. Latifi's crash in Abu Dhabi in 2021 arguably caused the controversial end to the season, where Max Verstappen swept the championship from Lewis Hamilton due to a decision from Michael Massey, race director at the time, but that's a story for another video. Logan Sargent is the newest wealthy driver on the grid and currently the only American in the sport. His father, Warren Sargent, is a wealthy businessman who has provided financial support for his son's racing career. Logan has shown promise in the junior categories, and it remains to be seen if he can score any points in his Formula One future. Not all sons of rich team owners have struggled in F1 though. A good example is Lando Norris, son of Adam Norris, a retired investment banker and businessman. While Adam Norris's funding and connections likely helped Lando progress through the junior ranks, Lando has proven himself in F1 and is seen as a future star, and scoring a podium in Silverstone showed that it has started paying off. His results show clear skill and potential that outshine his financial backing. So, how often does the strategy of wealthy parents buying an F1 seat for their son work out? The evidence suggests, more often than not, it does not. For every Lando Norris, there are more examples of drivers like Nikita Mazepin who have achieved little of note in F1 beyond their family's money. F1 should be a meritocracy, but too often the enormous costs involved mean talent alone is not enough. You need to bring big money with you. So how does this impact on F1? On the one hand, money flowing into the sport funds teams and allows them to compete. But when drivers buy seats due to their funding rather than ability, it undermines the integrity of the competition and results. It also prevents other talented drivers without such generous benefactors from reaching F1 based solely on their potential and work ethic. Take Lewis Hamilton, for example. Hamilton came from a working-class family but dominated throughout his junior career through pure skill and determination. If F1 seats were determined by talent alone, the grid would likely feature more drivers from similar backgrounds who could put in performances like Hamilton's, rather than sons of billionaires falling short of the mark. Of course, there needs to be a balance. F1 cannot run without major funding and investment, but when money outweighs merit too heavily, the sport suffers. In conclusion, while wealthy backers and sponsors have always played a role in F1, team owners installing their underperforming sons as drivers is problematic. Examples of when this strategy has failed highlights how it negatively impacts both results and fairness in the sport. However, it is an issue with no straightforward solution, as F1 still relies on such funding to function, and in some cases, as with Lando Norris, skill and backing can align. F1 must aim for a compromise that maintains the premier status of its competition without preventing talented drivers from poorer backgrounds joining based primarily on merit. With tighter restrictions on what money alone can buy in the sport, we would surely see fewer sons of billionaires in F1 seats and more drivers like Lewis Hamilton. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into F1 daddies and their impact on the sport. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more Formula One analysis, news and discussions.